Well, good evening, everybody. It's Friday, April 26th. Coming up in today's edition of The Play, Oklahoma congressional delegates introduce a new bill on gun and ammunition, a preview of the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. But first, the story that's seen a lot of traffic on newsok.com. It was the groan heard around Oklahoma City. Russell Westbrook out indefinitely with a knee injury. Joining me now with more on this story, assistant local editor Nick Tragakis. And Nick, what do we know about the injury?
Well, we know that he'll be going in for surgery here anytime soon now, and General Manager Sam Presti held a news conference today to break the news to everyone, and it was a somber kind of deal. There's no time frame right now for how long he'll be out. People are hoping, hey, maybe he can come back for later in the playoffs if the Thunder should happen to advance. They say until they go in and do the surgery, it's a torn meniscus on his right knee, that they won't know for sure how long he'll be out. This is, taking the internet by storm today, and it'll be a big thing in the newspaper tomorrow as well. It'll probably end up being the lead story on the front page of the paper, let alone just a sports section.
Absolutely. In fact, you can see the video of Sam Presti, Coach Scott Brooks, and Kevin Durant talking about Russell Westbrook's injury. Those videos can be found on newsok.com, as well as our sports crew did a Google Hangout and some phoners, so lots of information about a very big injury. Another story, 2 Oklahoma lawmakers introduced a bill on Friday that would put new limits on ammunition purchases by most federal departments. Interesting. What can you tell us about this measure?
Well, Chris Castile in our Washington, D.C. bureau has this story. It'll be in the Saturday paper. And Senator Jim Inhofe and Representative Frank Lucas have introduced a bill that would put limits on the amount of ammunition that federal agencies can buy if that would sort of intrude on the ammunition supply that the general public might try to get access to. They're saying they want to do it to make sure that people can freely exercise their Second Amendment rights. The federal government is saying that, we've been buying the same amount of ammunition the whole time. We're not trying to stockpile anything. So we get into the back and forth a little bit on that issue.
Very interesting. And of course, the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon is coming up on Sunday. Great headline in the Friday edition of the Oklahoman, 26.2 miles of security. That really sums it up. There's a lot of attention and focus on this race. There used to see some B-roll of previous races, even more than in past years.
Yeah, and we're going to have our sports team and our news team out on the marathon course on Sunday morning. Our sports guys will be looking at the race itself, your stories of triumph and courage that come from the runners and crossing the finish line. And on the news side, we're going to kind of get a little bit what you mentioned with the security aspect. We'd like to go there on Sunday morning and get a feel for, is the security as increased and stepped up as they've said it would be? Did people leave their backpacks at home like organizers asked them to? So we'll look at that and report on that for Monday's newspaper.
Something else coming up this weekend is a special package on traffic fatalities. Let's talk about that.
This is something we put a lot of time into, and it's an interesting idea. We're calling it traffic fatalities, a silent epidemic. Anywhere from 600 to 800 Oklahomans die every year in traffic fatalities. It's more than homicides and fires and terrorism and plane crashes combined, but it's something that people seem to take for granted, really. So we're looking at just the sheer numbers of traffic fatalities that happen in the state, places that are dangerous to drive, the psychology of driving a car, and why people go out and do it even though it's kind of a dangerous thing, really, when you look at the odds. And also getting some firsthand stories from people who have survived fatal accidents that claimed other friends and family and stuff like that. So it should be a very compelling package of stories in the Sunday paper.
All right, good information, Nick. Thanks so much for your time.
Sure.
You can find these stories in your driveways and your newsstands in the Oklahoman this weekend, and of course online at newsok.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.